Let's go, boss up, baby. We back with another video. Help you guys get up out the 9-to-5 rat race with these gig apps, these courier jobs, starting your own business, finding different side hustles to stack your paper up day by day to get you to retirement. That's what we about. That's what we do on this channel. And just get you some money on to, get you out your parents' house. Every little bit helps. So if you like the information, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like tax. That's all I ask for you guys. And you can drop a little cash app or super chat on me if you like. You dig? But no long talk, long intros. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. Now, before you start applying for medical courier jobs or trying to land your own delivery contracts, there's one important step you cannot afford to skip, people. Get the proper training and certifications. Certifications is the main thing with this business, referring to medical courier. Now, doing delivery work is not as many, I should say, certifications with those outside of maybe in your airport TSA certifications. But with medical courier work, HIPAA, bloodborne pathogens, there's a lot of things you need to be trained on in order to do this right. In order you got to mess up these people's specimens, not to spoil them, and make sure they get to the right place. All right. So medical facilities are trusting you with the specimens, prescriptions, medications, medical supplies, in some cases, confidential patient information. Showing up with the driver's license and reliable vehicle may get you through the door, but having the right credentials can help you further down the line and get you better routes, look more professional, and you probably can get some better pay. All right, so in this video, I'm going to break down which medical courier certification you need, which certifications are optional, which ones are highly recommended, where can you compete for training, and probably how long it costs, how long it takes, and what companies really stand out and which ones have the best pricing and give you the best training for your money. So make sure you watch to the end and also give me a checklist of what to apply for these companies at the end as well. Welcome to the Boss Up. Let's get it. All right. So is there one official medical courier license? Well, the first thing you need to understand is that generally, there isn't one universal, but there are different licenses and certifications, but there's not just one medical courier license that you get. Had some comments on some videos saying that it's an American courier license. No, it's just a couple of certs, and not all companies actually even require you to get them. So I would recommend reaching out to the companies first before you actually go through and start spending money and getting certifications you may or may not need, but always be safe than sorry if you got the time and money. All right, so the requirements depend on the company you're hiring for, some of the materials you're transporting, whether you're an independent contractor or a full-blown employee. So if you work for some of the big companies, what's the one you got to do the drug test for? Lab Core, I think it's called, and that they actually hire their own drivers to go through different training. You're not an independent contractor. You get paid an hourly rate. You're driving their car, so you're not driving your own car. So the pay is a little bit less, but it's a lot less startup or stuff you have to put up on your end. And then they supply you with dry ice, supply you with certain coolers. If you work for that company, if you work for yourself, then you got to supply some of your own coolers, some of your own bags. Of course, they don't expect you to have your own dry ice, but you got to make sure you have something to properly store that dry ice in, because you got to keep some of these samples cold. So the number one certificate everyone pretty much needs to have, or what I see most companies that I've worked for in the past recommend I have, is the HIPAA training. So HIPAA stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This training teaches you how to protect confidential patient information, commonly called PHI. So protect the health information. You don't want people's names, addresses, prescription information, lab work. You don't want that information leaked. Whether you go in and you record yourself doing these deliveries, you don't want to accidentally come across people's names on the prescriptions on the outside of the bag or anything like that. So make sure you're not leaking information. Make sure you have all the paperwork stored in a secure location. When you get out the car, doing your deliveries, make sure you lock the car so no one can come in and take the information. Make sure you got your phones locked. If you know that you don't have anybody ride with you. That's another big thing. That don't let people ride with you, even your kids, when you're doing these prescription deliveries, because sensitive information, people can pick up stuff, mix up stuff. So you don't want to give somebody the wrong prescription as well. So that's what the most important one is, the HIPAA training. I'm actually going to show you guys a couple of companies that you can get your HIPAA training from at the end of this video. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to give you each company. Actually go through the websites. I just don't talk about these companies. I actually show you where to apply for, and you know, what's the best way to get in and get started with these companies, whether it's a certification or whether it's the actual company that's hiring for these medical courier gigs. All right, and then most of them average around $35 for the course. They usually 1 to 2 hour course on these websites I'm going to show you later on. And what you learn is HIPAA privacy, HIPAA security, PHI health, and some more things. All right. So certificate number 2 that you need is bloodborne pathogens. All right. Bloodborne pathogens is another big one that you will need. It's called BPP training. If you see it online, BPP, that's bloodborne pathogens, and HIPAA are the main 2 that most companies that you see online, people talking about. You how to, if you're exposed to different infections, if people have blood samples with HIV, if you spill it, what to do, how to clean it, how to properly handle it, how to properly dispose of it, where to glove, where to grab certain things, make sure you don't break it, make sure you don't touch poop and pee and urine, all those things. So make sure you're handling these things properly. And then what this training does for you, average cost around $38, some up to $90. Some have bundles, so you can take for about $100. You can get the HIPAA and the OSHA bundle. Some I've seen low as $9. So I'm going to go through a couple of companies, like I said, later on. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Certificate number 3, specimen handling and transportation. This kind of goes hand in hand with the BBP, the bloodborne pathogens. But like I said, sometimes you have in different specimens like urine and poop and sometimes semen with DNA tests. So you better make sure that you're handling it properly, not just blood, but you got all other different things. Make sure you have your coolers labeled. Hazardous waste, you don't want to be eating and putting your food next time you go out on a picnic or a cookout or out of town in your bloodborne pathogen or your poop and pee cooler. So make sure you keep everything labeled. Make sure when you're doing catering, you're not using that same area, same cooler when you're doing things. Also, you got DOT and infectious substance training. DOT, if you're doing hazardous materials, hazmat, you're driving a box truck, usually when you're doing hazmat. Some cargo vans have hazmat loads as well, but make sure you're packing dry ice for those hazmat deals, and that's what they teach you in those hazmat certifications. So that's what I'm going to teach you and show you those as well. OSHA certifications, CPR, first aid certifications. Some companies require that. Haven't seen that a lot with a lot of companies needing CPR and first aid. But like I said, some require it depending on where you're working, depending on what you're doing. Defensive driving training, some require that. Chain of custody training, whether you like how you signing off on this, make sure you cross your T's, dot your I's. And then, of course, valid driver's license, motor, MVR. Some medical courier companies require you to get a motor vehicle registration to make sure you have those. So that's it. That's the standard credentialing you should have when doing these medical courier runs. Like I said, they help you make more money being certified. You can get different routes, after hours, stats, organ delivery, get more higher paying gigs by having these certifications. And how you stand out, go ahead and put all your certs in a binder. So when you're going to interviews or when you go and solicit yourself as an independent contractor, you can show everything that you have, everything that you've done, all the checklists that's already that they require. You can have it, boom, right there. So go ahead and comment down below your city and state. Comment the word courier, and I'm going to give you guys a free checklist if you comment down below of everything you need to have in this. But let's go ahead and get into the good stuff, the actual websites, and actually show you how to get started, which companies are the best, which ones you need to be involved with, which ones gonna waste your time and money. We don't want those guys. We want the legit ones. All right, get into it. There we go. First one is American Red Cross. This is the one that comes highly recommended. Not the one I actually had to take. It's the one that most people are recommending, and the one I'm seeing most of my colleagues in the medical courier industry and people that teach these things are recommending to their clients. As you go through American Red Cross, they have both the bloodborne pathogens and the HIPAA, but this is just the bloodborne pathogens. They got previews of the course, which you can expect here.
Bloodborne Pathogens is an interactive
this is
online
a quick little
course from the
video
American
thing
Red
to do.
Cross.
Not a long process. It's very easy. They give you the video of what to watch. You can go back, rewind it while you're taking the test and everything. So not a real hard thing to do. It's not real complicated, but they do take it serious. They do want to see your certificates. They do want to know that you've kind of been exposed to this information because it keeps them liable on their end. Say, hey, they got a certificate, whether they paid attention in the course or they actually did the course, not on us. But they got to cert and you can't sue us. So that's what they want. So this is redcross.org. Take a class, bloodborne pathogens training is how you get to it. And like I said, they got all kind of training, CPR, babysitting skills, and you got stuff from Red Cross. Now here's the one I actually did was integrity course training through Lab Logistics. When I got hired through Lab Logistics, right after they sent me the hiring paperwork, said I was hired and I had to fill out my W-9 because I was an independent contractor. This was the next thing I had to do before I can actually come in and start my routes. So here is the training, online courses, things you need to do. And then once I got enrolled, everything was kind of pre-set up for me. Now this site looks a little different because it was about 3 years ago when I did all my training. But here's a very, very good company to go through, integritydeliveries.com. The guy, Ken Arnold, owns this company, a very reputable guy in the industry. Next is EPI courses, probably the third best and the most popular I've seen people talk about. This one is $36 per seat. For the HIPAA, this is HIPAA, not bloodborne pathogens, but I believe they do both as well. But this is for HIPAA, $36 for the HIPAA training. EPI courses. Here's another one, nationalcprfoundation.com. Should be able to see the website right at the top of the page. You can pause it, zoom in up there. Having a hard time finding it. National CPR Foundation and courses. Provide life-saving techniques. Here's all the courses. Here's OSHA. Here's a CPR. Here's bloodborne pathogens. I don't see HIPAA on there. This one just bloodborne. I don't see HIPAA for national CPR. And then here's 360 training. If you Google HIPAA and OSHA, this is the most popular one that comes up. They got very good SEO on their website. That shit always comes up. $45 for the bundle. That's very good. I actually would recommend you guys getting this bundle right here. Getting all of these. Go ahead and check that out. And also you can be a reseller or an affiliate. You can make some money selling your own bloodborne pathogen training through them. Bloodborne certification. Here's another website, bloodbornecertification.com. Haven't really heard about them, so I'm just kind of, I think it's more of an informational website, but they do have courses, but I don't know how reputable this one is. Also has a hazmat training as well, $28. But like I said, I will always recommend contacting a company that you're thinking about working for first, reaching out to a couple of them, seeing which ones they recommend, if they even do recommend a bloodborne pathogen or a HIPAA certification. CPR certification.com has both of them. You're in good company. So they work with the Girl Scouts. They work with a couple of companies. This one looks pretty reputable. Got 3 more websites. National OSHA. Foundation.com, OSHA Bloodborne Pathogens. OSHA is the company that most warehouses and large organizations have to go through to get certified, make sure they're running their operation safely and up to compliance. So I would definitely trust OSHA. HIPAA exams, this was $19.95 for your HIPAA exam, credited by the facet providers, bloodborne pathogens and HIPAA, they do both. And then last but not least, we got, there's EPI courses again. Here's the EPI courses main website. Like I said, this is one of the, maybe the third and one I see a lot online about people taking when I was doing research for this, because it's been a minute since I had to do my HIPAA certification and all that good stuff, right? So boss up. That's it. That's how you get your HIPAA certification. There's the companies. These are the reasons why you need your HIPAA and Bloodborne. Make sure you take this serious. It can help you increase your income, help you actually get a contract with these medical courier companies, and just help you be smarter in the industry and help you skills and level up in this business. All right. Hit that subscribe. I appreciate you. Until next time, we gone.